What's going on, everybody? Sorry I've been gone for a couple days. Had a windstorm come through here, messed up all of the cable and internet lines, but back on track now. Today's going to be a midweek update, and we're just going to talk about some of the things that have been going on, some of the wild things that have been going on. These things are starting to heat up. Close to 2020 gets everything's starting to, do its shifting in dramatic ways. Um, First thing I do want to talk about is the country and how it's shifting. There are only 6 super liberal states in the United States right now. And you can guess them all. They're all on the coast and they're all a bunch of liberal places where big cities are. You got your Californias, your Washingtons, your Illinois. It's not on a coast per se, but it's near a big body of water. Seems that liberals like to be near big bodies of water. New York, all them little places up near New York. Typical strongholds. That's what the Democratic Party is going to be pushing, is these strongholds, because if you look from the interior of the country spreading out, it's becoming more red. People are fed up with the liberal lunacy. That's all that attributes to this, is people are just fed up. I mean, the liberals in this country are going so far to the left that it's almost as if sects of Antifa are in our government now. That's pretty much what it seems like, especially from outward looking in. They're doing things or trying to propose things that are economically unfeasible. I mean, morally unfeasible. Just, it's crazy things, I don't expect nothing less from them moving forward. This kind of seems to be their new MO. Let's just tear the mother effer down and see what happens. I don't think they care about preserving a republic for which it stands. It seems like they want to do the exact opposite. They just want to tear it down and try to start something different. Which, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's a good old country term for you. But yeah, you could see a major shift from people who were classified as like centrist left or the moderate left. They're starting to agree with more conservative values. Now, this doesn't mean that politically they've changed much. But there's just certain things that the left have been doing that a lot of the more moderate Democrats are not down with. You're actually seeing a big boost in pro-life on the left. I think it's mainly to do with places like New York putting their crazy abortion bill through, and then our lovely racist Governor Northam, when he got up there and promoted infanticide. I think that has a lot to do with it. People are starting to see that the abortion fight, they've already won the fight with Roe versus Wade that was created over a false rape allegation. I mean, the whole premise of Roe v. Wade is false because the incident never actually happened. But there's a new poll out where 47% of Democrats under the age of 40 are starting to see themselves as more pro-life. And only 48% are pro-choice. That's a dead heat tie. I don't think that tie's ever been that close in the Democratic Party. So it shows even some of your hardliner Democrats, after all this infanticide talk and all this learning about, some of the mainstream media, not all, most of it is still just propaganda, but there are a few organizations out there that put out actually what these bills and stuff would mean. And a lot of people got put off by that pretty hard. I mean, when you can't even say you're aborting an already born baby. Abortion doesn't apply to something that's born already. That's killing. That's murder. That's death, no matter how you look at it. But it is a good shift that we're seeing. It's a good shift. The nation is slowly becoming more conservative, but that's a global trend. That's not something that's just happening here in America. That is something that's happening. All of Europe is starting to become more and more conservative. And Europe's a little bit different because they're conservatives. They're what they would classify as conservatives are still quite liberal people. They still lean pretty hard left. But they're just more conservative than the globalist type people that are in charge of Europe right now. But we'll move on from that. Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un are meeting in Vietnam. I think they had their first meeting this morning in our time. I'm on the East Coast, so it would have been somewhere around 5 or 4 in the morning. In between 4 in the morning and 6:30 in the morning, they had their first meeting, first little dinner and everything. We'll see how this goes. You know, when we're talking about North Korea, we all know anything can go. They have been a hermit nation for so long. But they do have a lot to look forward to if these meetings and talks go well, because we have pressured them with sanctions for so long now. Just doing a couple little steps and having some of those sanctions removed would be huge for them. You know, and it would be an astonishing feat if the president could actually get them to sign an armistice of some type of peace treaty with South Korea, effectively ending the Korean War. That would be super historical. I still think the odds are very slim. Kim Jong-un, he's a paranoid guy. He's more paranoid than any leader we've probably ever known, because they've been shunned and shut off for so long, which I'm not saying is a bad thing necessarily. But if we can open them up to being somewhat of a normal country, I think that's specifically why they chose Vietnam. Because Vietnam is still a communist-controlled country. But the way it's set up, they're actually starting to thrive. Financially, you know, economically, all that. The people are doing good. I think that's why the president chose there to say, hey, we left Vietnam alone. We let them under their own means, and look what they've built. We're actually on peaceful grounds with them. And they still have their dictatorships and all that dumb crap. But look how prosperous they're doing now. I think that's the main goal with him. I know inevitably getting him to stop making nuclear arms and whatnot is the inevitable goal, but when you're a paranoid nation like North Korea, that seems to be your only bargaining chip, which it really is. That's all they have. That's all they have, is that they have nuclear weapons. That's their only bargaining chip. But it's because they're not savvy. They don't know what they have. Their land is rich with minerals and all kinds of other stuff that outside entities would love to be able to get their hands on. So they could play this. North Korea really has a win-win type thing set up if they so choose to do that. They could be a big ally to a lot of people. A lot of different areas could be affected if North Korea decides to go a peaceful route in the lunacy that is the Korean War and all that. Just having ties with South Korea, their economy would boom, because South Korea is a booming economy. And to be able to tie it in together, North and South Korea, they could have an economic powerhouse. Really, they could have something really good. But we'll see. It is Kim Jong-un. We all know he's a little weirdo. But let's just hope our president can go there and talk some sense into the little guy. And we all know Cohen. He started testifying today. He talked with him for a while yesterday, but I think today's his official testimony. I don't know how much they're going to get out of him. We all know exactly what's going to happen with the Michael Cohen in the House committee. He's going to go in there. He is going to just throw out everything that he can against the president, whether it's true or not. Most of what he says is probably going to be not true because he already screwed up. Admitted the truth. He's going to prison. So he's coming out. So let me deface the president as much as possible to see if hopefully, just hopefully, I can get a little bit less time. I don't think that's going to be how it works. This is just going to be more fodder for the Democrats to be like, see, the president, orange man bad, orange man bad. That's all it is. I don't think we're going to see anything come of it. We're still waiting on the Mueller probe to come out. So, and if the Mueller probe doesn't find these things that Michael Cohen's saying, then they just didn't happen. Because the Mueller probe they have been inspecting every bit of the president's life since a couple years before the election cycle of 2016 ever even happened. So if they can't find it, it's just simply not there. So I'd take the Michael Cohen testimony with a grain of salt. He's already been deemed not trustworthy, so I don't even know why they're having him up there again. If you lie once, you can lie twice. It's not that big of a deal. One interesting thing that's happening, this doesn't involve us directly, but India and Pakistan are provoking each other over borders, which India has a habit of doing this to its neighbors because India and China have been in a war of attrition over a certain border region over there. Excuse me. And now Pakistan's involved in another border dispute. So India does not like its neighbors apparently, and I don't think its neighbors care for it much either. But this is something that needs to be watched. Whenever you have areas from the Middle East or certain parts of Asia that are starting to get heated up, especially when one of them's an ally and really big, we got to watch this. This is a situation that could be arising. These are all nuclear powers over there too. Can you imagine a local nuclear war? How devastating of an impact that would have, especially with India. I mean, that's a lot of goods and services and all that stuff that would be disrupted. I mean, it's horrible to imagine nuclear war, period, but it could happen. These two places do have the capabilities to start a nuclear war. Just, are they going to be willing to do it on an area so close? I doubt it. I don't think most people would use a nuke. I don't think most countries that have them would actually use them. They're just a deterrent, and it's just a shield. That's all it is. They can hide behind their nukes. But we'll see with that because, like I said, India's had a lot of issues, especially with China, and now they're having them with Pakistan about their border areas. It's a subject that India does not like to be messing with, is their borders. Imagine that. A country that likes its border security. Seems to be rare nowadays. But yeah, I'm going to end up making a few more videos today. I might be getting a little bit more in depth in some of these subjects, but let's just keep you a little bit up to date. I wanted to let you know I'm sorry for not being around for a couple days. But as always, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all on the flip side.